Hello, and welcome to another episode of Into the Woods with Trapping Girl. I am your host, Linda White, and this week I am sharing two very special interviews with you. One is a young lady who has her very own bait and lure line coming out. The other is a young lady who has her very own YouTube channel. Both of these are under the age of 18. They're extremely impressive, and I hope you enjoyed their interviews as much as I enjoyed giving them. Here we go. Today I have my guest, Charlie. I'm not going to give her last name because she is a minor, but you may know her father on social media and follow Charlie also on the Trapping Girl page with Facebook. Charlie, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. I'm so glad that you decided that you weren't too nervous to talk to me today. I'm glad to hear from you. How about you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, how old you are, how you started trapping, what you enjoy. Just kind of give us a little rundown of who you are.
Okay. My name is Charlie. I'm 10 years old in fifth grade, and I started trapping about 3 years ago. My dad was the one who originally got me into trapping because he's trapped for a long time. And as soon as we caught my first coon, and I have everything like my first beaver, my first coyote, my first muskrat, everything hanging on my wall because they're just make such great memories.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. So you started 3 years ago. Now, did you
Yep.
start trapping, like setting your own traps 3 years ago? Or were you just kind of dad's helper then?
I was kind of just helping my dad my first year. Last year was kind of my first year. Like, yeah, last year I skinned my first beaver and muskrat, and I'm a huge mink trapper, and I like to make mink pocket sets, and that's really last year was my big like year where I started doing all that.
Wow. Why do you like mink so much? Why do you like trapping mink so much?
Mink are just fun because they're so like I feel like muskrat and coon, they're fun, but mink are so exciting. It's so exciting when you walk up to like a bridge and you see a mink floating, and they're just a lot of fun. I like catching them. I love their fur. They're just curious creatures.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I personally like catching mink because they're like little ping pong balls. I feel like they don't they don't run a normal course like a lot of, beavers, they run in a channel and everything. I feel like mink, they're a little
Yeah,
harder to catch.
they are, because you have to like attract them to your set instead of just making like blind sets and stuff like you would for beaver.
Right. Right. So I gotta ask,
Mhm.
you said that your dad trapped for a really long time, so you just started trapping. How did he convince you that this was something you wanted to do, or did you convince him?
Well, it I remember he told me that we were gonna go set a trap, and I remember I didn't know what a mink or a muskrat was, so it kind of just kept me curious because I'd never really seen like a beaver up close, or a mink up close at all anyway. So then when we went trapping, it was just so fun because it was something I'd never done before. So then it kept me coming back for more when, like, you'd walk up and you'd have a big beaver in your trap. It was just something I really loved to do.
Yeah. So how is trapping with your dad? Do you get to go every day or do you just go on the weekends?
No, I go every day. I remember the first day of every year on November 10th, I get out of school a little earlier. He comes and picks me up so we can go set our beaver, or not our beaver traps, our mink and muskrat traps and coon, and it's just really fun.
That's awesome. So how far do you guys go from the house? Do you go pretty far from the house or do you trap pretty close?
We trap closer for the house, but the only thing is coyotes we kind of go a little farther for, but like 30 minutes was our top, like the farthest we travel.
So do you just do that after school?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about some of the stories and what it's like trapping with dad. Maybe some of the lessons you've learned over the last couple years. Tell us a couple stories of the outdoors, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be trapping, just the outdoors in general.
Okay. Well, I remember my first beaver. It was fun because we were on a mission because we started trapping coon a little later and we had this spot and we set a couple coon traps for and then we saw this guy had a problem with beavers. So we set up the hut and it was like really cold and I'm like, I don't know, what if this isn't like super fun, and then we set the trap, and then the next day we caught like a it was like a 50-pound beaver. It was a big beaver, and then a couple days later I caught my first coon there too. So it was just really fun. And I remember we walked up and my dad couldn't get it out because it was like in the hut still, like
Oh.
half the body was still in the hut and like it was like in our trap. So then he had to like pull it out. It was really funny.
Do you have any other stories?
Um, well, I remember last year I love to turkey hunt, and last year I shot my first turkey. It was a couple minutes from our house, and I went with my dad, and he called. We were like right under the turkeys, and he called once they got down. They like were like they got down like away from us. So then I thought they were just kind of like going like they followed the hens and they weren't really coming near us. But then he called them back in. He lured them back in, and there was like a line of all these. First one was a jake, but there was like a line of gobblers, and I remember he kept telling me, "Shoot, shoot." And then I'm like, I wanted to wait till it stopped because I didn't want to miss. So then I he finally stopped to look at our decoys and I just shot him and it was so exciting. He like pushed me and like got up and like ran over to the turkey and I was like it was so fun because I like started crying because I was so excited.
That's awesome. So I don't know if you know this, but I've never shot a turkey, and that's my goal this year is to shoot a turkey. So I'll have to send you pictures. You got your first turkey before I did.
I know my aunt hasn't shot a turkey either, and I'm like, as soon as I shot it when we were walking back to the truck, I'm like, Dad, you have to call my aunt, so you have to call her and tell her that I shot a turkey before. And he's like, it's not a competition. I'm like, I know, I'm just excited.
That's awesome. So what other outdoor activities do you do with your dad? Do you fish too? Are you hunting? Are you deer
Yeah,
hunting?
I told my dad that I wanted to wait until I could shoot a bow and not like an actual crossbow to
Mhm.
go deer hunting, but like I said, I like to trap, turkey hunt, and uh we go fishing each summer, and it's fun because we catch a lot of bluegills and crappies, and then we use them in our main pocket sets.
That's awesome. That's super cool. So I hear that your mink trapping is going to be known nationwide here this summer, that you're going to be doing a demo at the National Trappers Association's convention this year.
Yes, that is the plan to do a mink pocket set demo for the kids cave. I'm
Are you
pretty
nervous?
excited.
Oh, you're excited? Good.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a
Um
demo before?
no, I know in you and your husband have let me like go up and kind of help you guys with it, but I've never done one by myself.
Well, that'll be fun. It You don't be nervous at all. Just pretend like everybody's sitting there in their underwear.
I'm good. I'll stick to being nervous.
So, Shirley, being a little newer to trapping, and I know you go to conventions with your dad, and I'm sure that you're probably gonna end up being a lifelong trapper. I've gotta ask,
Um,
what do you think are some of the important things to get more kids involved? You know, it's always important to grow the community, and what do you think maybe would help get other kids involved?
I think you need to like bring them to conventions and let them see how much fun it is to trap and like if you bring them to conventions they can see like the demos and see like and make sure you tell like we need to tell them how important it is to trap, like to make sure that for the environment that we keep the population down. And it's really fun. One thing that I think is important is using every bit of the animal, like beaver, we keep all the meat for baits and the castor and the oil sacks and the fur, obviously, like how you use every bit of the animal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's very important. Well, Charlie, do you have anything else to tell our listeners before we wrap up?
I think that's all.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to Charlie. I know I love talking to her any chance that I get. She's just such an impressive young little lady. And she even has her own coon lure out, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And I'm pretty sure that somewhere down the road, we're probably going to see more baits and lures coming from that girl. Next up, we have a young lady who has her own YouTube channel. Decided one day, you know what, this was something I wanted to do. And honestly, can you blame her? Who doesn't want to share trapping with the world? All right, here we go. And today I have Michael and Michelle from Trapping Squad. I'm not going to give her last name because she is a minor, but if you ever get on YouTube and look up Trapping Squad, this little girl is just absolutely amazing. So, welcome, Michelle and Michael.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad that you were able to come with us today. So Michelle, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you start trapping? And even the outdoors. I see that you have some fishing videos and things like that on your channel. So how did you even get into the outdoors?
So I come from a family of hunting and fishers. So me and my dad, when I was younger, we would go hunting and fishing together, and a little bit of trapping.
Okay. And then what? You just liked it, and you're like, I want to keep doing this, or
When I got a little older, when I was able to shoot a gun, so we went out turkey hunting for the youth hunt one week, and we didn't get anything, and then we went out the next weekend, and we saw some tom turkeys and other things. So I was getting ready to shoot, and my face was too close to the scope on the gun,
oh no,
and I scoped myself. So
oh no, oh no. So that kept you coming back. I would think that that would be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
yeah, I'm still a little scared to shoot right now, but then I kind of stopped shooting it because I was really scared that I would do it again.
Oh, yeah.
So then we, yeah. So we went wolf trapping with my cousin when I was 3 or 4 with him. So I did do a little bit of trapping before I started YouTube. So that also happened.
Well, that's neat. Did you enjoy wolf trapping? Have you trapped a wolf before or after that?
No, I didn't. So, but then we moved to more of the country. So then on my Christmas break, we were going muskrat trapping on this farmer's land that we got permission from. And I didn't really want to be there. I didn't really want to trap right there. I kind of wanted to be sitting at home. And we were setting the traps by the huts, and a muskrat came out of the hut into the trap, and we caught a muskrat when we were 3 feet away from it.
Oh, wow. So that kind of hooked you.
So
You were
then
like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. So then I started doing beaver trapping, and then I was making this joke about starting a YouTube channel because I didn't really think my parents would let me start a YouTube channel because my mom was always scared that they would find where we lived or something. So, and then my dad said we could start a YouTube channel. So then we kind of just started it to show people what we do in the outdoors and to kind of just have fun.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy your YouTube channel. I like that you don't try to be perfect. You're just out there having fun. You show everything. I even like when sometimes when you're like, "Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh darn." like your little mistakes, and it's so cute. I think that's wonderful, and I think that's very inspiring to other kids your age. Um so how do you at school, like I'm sure kids at school now, they've seen your YouTube channel and everything. Like what do your friends think about it?
Well, when I first started, like I was in fourth grade, and they were like, "You don't have a YouTube channel. What do you do on it?" And they didn't believe me. And then, like, when I got to fifth grade, I started telling people about it. And then, like, they subscribed, and they really thought it was cool and interesting and funny.
I think it's funny too. I like it. Your dad, whenever we talked about, possibly getting you on the podcast, he said that you were super nervous. You don't seem to be nervous whenever you're out in the wild. You don't seem to be, kind of shy or anything. So, do you just forget that, that there's a camera there and you just do your thing, or
I don't know. I think it's just kind of like it's the outdoors, and I never really think many people are going to be watching it anyway. So,
I
like,
understand that
yeah.
because that's sometimes how I feel about the podcast. Like the very first podcast I did, I had like over 500 people listening to it. And that was my first thought too. I was like, well, nobody's going to listen to it. So it doesn't matter if I mess up. So I definitely know how you feel about that one. So your mom was really worried that people were going to like find where you live or that you were going to have like any kind of like anti-trappers and hunters and all that. Like, have you had any problems where you've had like antis or anything like that? Has it gone pretty well for you?
It's going pretty well. I haven't had anyone say anything about it or like anything rude.
Well, that's good. That's real good. Have you had any like younger girls or even younger kids, reach out or have their parents and say, "Hey, you've really inspired me to get out there and I think this is really cool." Have you had any of that?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I know that I had the reason that you're one of the reasons that you're on is because I have a girl that watches your YouTube channel. She's about 12 years old and she's in Michigan and she watches your YouTube channel. And she's really excited about you. She thinks that you're super cool. So I told her, I said, well, I know Michelle and I think that she's super cool too. So that's why I kind of wanted to have you on here because there are people that are out there listening and there are people that are watching you and you're inspiring a lot of younger girls to get out there and I wanted you to know that. I hope that you know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other stories? I mean, you've been trapping for a while now. So do you have any other stories of being out in the wild like even if they're hunting stories, they don't necessarily have to be trapping that you'd want to share with us?
I don't
Okay.
really think so.
Okay. What is your favorite animal to trap?
Either beaver or raccoon.
Why? Why are they your favorite animals to trap? Why do you like trapping them?
I just really like trapping beaver because it's like I like trapping beaver because it's just a really cool animal and I really like to eat it for
Oh,
beaver stew. So and they're just really cool animals to trap. Raccoons, they they're raccoons. That's
they're
I don't really know.
they're cute though, aren't they?
It depends because they're big and mean,
They can be.
and
Yep.
they can be mean, but little ones, they're really cute.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny because so I went trapping with my friend out in Nebraska and I told her, I said, your coon are way meaner than our coon. Like they were hissing and growling and everything at me. And the ones in New York just kind of sit there and look at you. So I was I like almost fell backwards because I had a coon in a trap and it was like lunging at me and everything. And I'm like, wow, your coon are really mean out here. So she thought that was kind of funny. So Michael, are you sitting there listening?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I have a question for you real quick.
Okay.
All right. So when your daughter said that she wanted to start a YouTube channel, were you kind of taken back or were you like, "Hey, let's do this?" Like I'm sure as a parent, that's got to be kind of a struggle. Like you want to get your
I,
kid out there doing these things, but at the same time, like she said, mom was a little worried.
yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, like every 11-year-old kid, they watch YouTube like crazy. So I wasn't real surprised by the whole I want to start a YouTube channel, but I was surprised by the fact that she wanted to start a trapping slash outdoor YouTube channel. So yeah, I was taken back a little bit on that, and I was a little hesitant about it because I knew what it would all entail. But for the most part, from the get-go, I wasn't too opposed to it because I knew it would give us an excuse to be in the outdoors more and to do stuff even more. And I knew it would get her even more involved than she already is. So I guess I'd say I wasn't really opposed to it too much from the get-go, but I also knew in the back of my mind how much work it would entail.
Yeah, you do a lot of the editing, right? Like that's all on you.
Yeah, I do all the editing, and it's been quite a few hours editing to put together one of those videos and going through all her different video that she takes in order to crop it and edit it and turn it into something.
Well, I gotta tell you, I think that you do a great job together. Um, Michelle, I have a question for you. As far as other little girls that are watching and everything like that, we're trying to grow the trapping community. And do you have any advice for somebody who might be starting out that would be roughly about your age that, she's looking to start trapping? What would be some of your advice? What should she start trapping with? Should she start water trapping? Should she start land trapping? Um, you know, do you have any advice for her?
I would probably first start land trapping and to maybe go like with someone who knows a little bit more about trapping in the outdoors before you go like alone.
Mhm. Do you do a lot of your own when you're out there? Like, is your dad going one way and you're going the other way, or is your dad right there with you?
Like he's right there. We don't really like split up or go one way or the other.
So that's really
We
helpful,
stay
right?
together. Mhm.
So, do you have anything else to add? Do you have anything that you would like to tell anybody that's watching or listening? Anything else? Maybe where to find you on YouTube?
They can find me at Trapping Squad. It's one word. So, and Instagram at Trapping Squad and my email trappingsquad9@gmail.com.
Awesome. And I think that you'd probably have a lot of people who are going to reach out to you because I got to tell you, I think your videos are absolutely wonderful. And I think that you really put a great, fun spin on the outdoors.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. Two young ladies who are really showing the world how much fun trapping can be. I hope you go and buy one of Charlie's coon lures. I hope you subscribe to Michelle's Trapping Squad YouTube channel. Show your support to these young ladies who are showing the world how much they love trapping and what it means to them. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Trapping Girl Inc., Sawmill Creek Baits and Lures, Trevor Barnes from Barnes Hide and Fur, Adrian Romero from Romero Fine Arts. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great night.